2020, guys, what can I say? It has been an absolutely insane year for speculative investing and for the smaller companies on the stock market. And today we're going to talk about what exactly has been happening over the past few months, as well as what could happen for the remainder of the year into 2021. How's it going, guys? Ryan here with another video, and today we're talking about the speculative investing opportunities that have occurred in 2020 and some of the insane gains that have occurred throughout this time frame. But before we get into the video, guys, please leave me a like down below. It helps me out so much, and subscribe to keep up to date with all the latest content. And if you do have any comments, questions or queries, please feel free to leave them down in the comments section below. So guys, let's talk about 2020 and the absolutely insane year that it has been on the stock market. So we saw at the start of the year an absolute beautiful peak on the Dow and the overall market in general, but then COVID hit and there was a plummet. The markets got smashed around the world and everyone thought we were going into a recession, and it was insane. People were selling stocks like absolutely no tomorrow. People were thinking, crap, let's get our money out into cash so that we don't lose it, or put it into things like gold, which has absolutely gone crackers and has been one of the best sectors during the year. But everyone jumped out, and for those who did hold on, there has been recovery and respite. But for those who didn't, they're probably kicking themselves if they haven't gotten back in, because the bounce we have seen on the stock market across the world has been absolutely insane. And some of the opportunities, particularly on the speculative end of the market, have been ridiculous. We're talking so many bags. We're talking 5 baggers, 10 baggers, all these insane gains that people have been making on the stock market. And for those savvy investors, there have been some fantastic opportunities. But now we're starting to see hints that, oh no, maybe this isn't going to continue and that the stock market is going to go into the recession after all. If you're looking at the S&P, the Dow Jones, we're seeing it's just passed through some key support levels that have been in place, and it's been sort of bouncing and retesting it as resistance. And as a result, people are now becoming concerned once again that the stock market is going to drop. But is that going to present more opportunities? What should we do as investors? Should we take our money out into cash and cash out all our gains? Or should we keep holding on? Should we keep investing, putting more money in, and then hopefully we don't see a drop and in fact the markets continue to grow? Now, as I've mentioned in so many of my previous videos, gold has been absolutely insane. And we're not just talking your standard gold miners and your gold commodity price, which has been nuts. It's hit all-time highs, which is absolutely incredible and awesome for the industry. But the speculative end once again has gone nuts. Those explorers which have been going out and putting their hard-earned cash straight into the drilling programs are coming out with insane results and insane valuations because of the gold price. It's absolutely incredible. It's almost like another gold rush that we saw back in the old days of the 1900s, those sort of things. It's crazy. Gold is one of the hottest commodities and the hottest sectors overall on the stock market at the moment. Personally, I believe that this is going to continue, and it purely comes down to the fact that the stock market is still an area of uncertainty across the world, and as a result the gold price is where people tend to hedge their bets. They're going to put their money into gold with the hopes that it increases. But as I've said before, and as I've said many times, put your money into gold stocks, because gold stocks will still increase. If the gold price rises, the producers are making money. If the gold price rises, the exploration companies are coming out with high valuations. So you can see some really big and quick runs. And you're seeing more and more of the upper end investors or the sophisticated investors in banks tending to want to put their money into the speculative end of the market now, due to the fact that there's not much growth on that top tier, those blue chip type companies that you typically see. All the growth on the stock market at the moment is in the speculative end, and that's awesome because that's the area of the market I play, so I absolutely love it. And it's presenting so many opportunities, and we're not just talking the gold sector, we're talking so many other kinds of minerals within that sort of same mining industry. We're talking biotechs, we're talking everything. Cybersecurity, that's a real big one at the moment because cybersecurity is becoming more and more important, and companies and governments are realizing that. And as a result, all these cybersecurity companies are coming out with the latest and greatest tech to protect companies and governments and other various organizations. So they're absolutely exploding, and they're priming for some insane growth. We've also seen the lithium industry starting to creep back into life. We saw a huge dip after the peaks we saw in the 2017 run, and it dropped down. And as I told you guys previously, I fell for that trap, and unfortunately I suffered a enormous loss. And I've learnt my lesson from that, fortunately, which is a good thing. But now we're starting to see that market recover, and we're creeping, closer to the dates that people have been speculating are when demand is going to increase significantly, and we're going to see supply shortages for lithium. And not only is this a speculative area on the stock market, it's also a new tech, in the sense of when we're talking about lithium batteries, yeah, they've been around for a while, but we're talking EVs, we're talking large storage devices, battery storage devices that could be used. So for instance, Elon Musk is powering South Australia at the moment with his battery and solar farms. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. And what we're seeing is more and more interest in these type of areas. People are looking more towards the speculative side of the industry, and people are really doing their research on what's going to be the next biggest and greatest thing. Just touching back on gold stocks, you would have seen Warren Buffett put an absolute ton of money into a gold stock in Nevada. I believe it was Barrick Gold. Warren Buffett doesn't get involved with gold typically, so that is telling that this is a very unique time in the market. It's definitely worth hedging your bets, definitely worth looking at all your options here. And it comes down to, once again, your strategy, guys, your risk versus reward, understanding the fundamentals of a company, understanding what companies are currently undervalued and are going to grow, and where they're going to grow to. Compare them to their peers. Make sure you understand why they're undervalued or why they're overvalued. Make sure you're not picking those stocks which are overvalued, because you'll tend to see that these do drop when you get better companies coming up and juniors, and everyone's chucking their money into those sorts of companies, and as a result taking it out of the larger companies which aren't worth as much. So be very, very careful when you're picking your stocks, but keep in mind the key things here. Planning, focusing on key necessities for the future. So we're talking lithium, we're talking, I wouldn't say gold's a key necessity, but cybersecurity, stuff like that. Biotechs, we're talking like cancer treatments, COVID treatments, huge things like this. Very speculative side of the industry, but this is where all the money is going, guys. So make sure you get online, make sure you start reading company announcements, start doing your research, because this run, in my opinion, hasn't finished just yet. And we're going to see the real fruits of this run over the next few months, or even potentially the next few years, if you're invested in the right industries. This is an incredible opportunity. And if you go back 6 months ago when all the stocks absolutely plummeted, that was an awesome entry point for some of these companies, and you could have picked up a lot of shares at a very cheap price, and you'll be seeing the fruits of that right now. That's all I've got for today, guys. I'd love to hear from you guys down below in the comments section. What are your predictions for 2020 and into 2021? Mine are, I personally think this run's going to keep going, and I really believe that you need to focus on those stocks which are on the more speculative end of the spectrum. So please remember to like this video, guys. Helps me out so much, and subscribe to keep up with all the latest content. And with that, guys, I hope you have an awesome day. See you next time. Cheers.